What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I want to talk about the brand new Rikka support that got revealed a couple of days ago by the time this video probably goes up. And yeah, I'm really hyped for this new support because Rikka is a deck I enjoy a lot. I have a deck profile on the channel as well as a combo video on the channel from way back, close to a year ago now. I constructed this really cool like Plant Link Rikka combo deck, and it's one I had a lot of fun with, but it just had a lot of core weaknesses that weren't exactly solved at the time. And I think this new support is going to be absolutely phenomenal for the archetype and sort of change it from this sort of heavy combo deck I had going into it to more of a mid-range strategy that has a lot of control elements and some really powerful cards. So I want to talk about the pros of all the cards coming out because I think the two cards that are coming out for the archetype are very, very good. But I want to talk about some cons as well, and I think almost the more important part is the cons and some of the things I'm worried about with this archetype. I don't think it'll be I don't think the cons will be too bad, but I think there are some that are a little bit concerning. So before we get into discussing the new Rikka cards, I do want to let you guys know, Discord link down below, along with all of our other social media links where you can follow us on the channel more closely. You know, on the Discord you can hang out with other Yu-Gi-Oh players, play Master Duel, just hang out and talk, whatever you guys want to do. It's a good time, and if you do like this type of content, leave a like, subscribe. It really helps us what we do here on the channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about these Rikka cards. So starting off, the first one we're going to talk about is the new monster, because I think this card is probably the best form of support for the deck. This card is absolutely insane. I cannot believe this card exists. Of course, it is for Rikka, so it's not like going in the most powerful archetype ever, but it's a really good form of support. So she's a level 4 water plant, very similar to Primula. And you can just special summon her from your hand, but while she's on the field, you are locked into plant monsters. Very similar to like the Ogdoadic level 4 that locks you into reptiles only while it's on the field. So that's very good, just level 4 plant extender. That's really helpful to make Strenna or Aromatherapy Jasmine, which is a good start. But her second effect, I think, is the most wild part. So when your opponent activates a monster effect and you control a Rikka monster, if she's in your hand or graveyard, you can tribute a plant monster to negate that effect, which is absolutely bonkers. I mean, it is a Wandering Griffin Rider from the graveyard. Like, you get to shuffle this card from your graveyard into the deck to negate. That is blasphemous. I mean, of course, it's only for monsters, which, you know, limits it a little bit, but monster negation is like probably the most powerful form of negation, and it's essentially free. You use it as an extender, and then it's a negate in graveyard. This card to me is so insane. But there is something with this card that has me a little concerned, which I'll get to after I explain the spell. The spell is a field spell, which is, you know, nice because it's searchable by Terraforming, searchable by Mudon. It's nice that it's so searchable. While you control a Rikka monster once per turn, you can set a Rikka spell or trap from your deck. This is very nice because you can search your Rhoda, you can search Sheet, and that's really good, but you're locked into plant monsters for the rest of the turn, and this is something I like that I sort of wish the other monster had, but I'll get into that a little bit more. The second effect, probably the most broken part about this card, is the fact that it's essentially Lair of Darkness. While you control a Rikka monster, if you would activate a monster effect or a Rikka effect that would tribute a monster, a plant monster you control, you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters instead. Hope I explained that sort of right. And yeah, that's very good because it's essentially Lair of Darkness. And what this means is when your opponent activates a monster effect and you have the first card we talked about, the level 4, you can actually tribute one of their monsters to negate one of their monster effects. And that, you know, just on the surface sounds so incredibly broken. So yeah, how I think this will benefit this deck before I want to talk about like the cons. Before we get into the cons, I want to talk about how I think it's going to help the deck or change it. So like I said previously, I was playing a very heavy, you know, combo version where I needed to combo, set up my like 5 negate board, and then I was really weak to Nibiru, Dark Ruler, the standard things for like the really linear combo decks. I think the support is going to shift it more into like a mid-range strategy where you have some combo elements with your like Lone Fires, and sort of like Martel, Aromatherapy Jasmine. You can play the Aromage package. Some really good combo elements, but it will lean into more of a mid-range sort of control style with Petal, and now your ability to actually use the Rikka spell and traps to full effect. Like, they're going to be good now because you can tribute their monsters to activate their additional effects, which are like the best things about it. Another thing is the fact that Glamour now contribute your opponent's monster going second with the field spell to search both the new level 4 and Primula, which is just ridiculous. That's so good. Like, you get essentially just free cards for tributing their monster, and it's so bonkers what this field spell can do, and especially with the new monster. So yeah, now you can use like your pedal every turn, because you can actually not run the stuff that was just not plant-centric. You can now run the more plant-centric stuff, because you can really rely on the Rikka cards to do their thing. Like, Rikka Flurries now seems very good. Teardrop's like a pretty good monster too. Tributing is like a really good form of removal. It does target to tribute, which is unfortunate, but overall I think everything in the archetype got a huge boost through these two cards. These two cards are just by far the most powerful cards in the deck now. But like Pedal's still good, Snowdrop's still good, making Teardrop is good. Where the deck's end board will be is a little weird, because you're locked into plants if you use your field spell, right? So you can make the Hyperton rank 9 sort of fake VFD card, which is okay. You can make the new Link 4 out of, I think it was Lightning Overdrive, but it might be Dawn of Majesty, the secret rare Link 4 plant, which is like an okay sort of form of disruption and follow-up. Locking yourself into plants leaves you where your end board isn't going to be crazy, but again, I think the power of controlling in this deck is going to be in the traps that are searchable through your field spell, the fact that your field spell can tribute your opponent's monsters, the fact that you have a monster negate in graveyard for free, which I think will allow you to play less of the combo stuff and more hand traps as well. So I think it will end up being more of a mid-range, very control-y strategy, but good at it. And that's sort of what I wanted for the deck as well, is to be good at what it wants to do, which was like the whole idea of tributing in the first place. So yeah, I really do like sort of how the support plays into the deck and how it will change the deck. I think Rikka will be a lot stronger after the support, like playable almost, and that's saying a lot for Rikka, because before it was very hard to get the deck to work. Now I want to talk about some of the cons, because I have some concerns. Recently, we've had the Brave engine, which, you know, is supposed to be a deck, but it's just an engine. We have the DPE engine. We have the Magician Souls engine. I'm really concerned with the fact that things can be engines. So I see the first line of the card where it's just free, and only while it's on the field it locks you into plants. This reminds me sort of a lot of how Petting Cessor, the Madolche card, was really good in a deck like Adamancipator just as an extender. It's not really like only for Madolche if you don't use the special summon effect from decks, so it was just a free extender. And sort of in the same respect, this card can be used to just make Verte Anaconda as like your first summon as an extender, and then do your other plays as well. It has me a little concerned that it could lead to just being a free extender for like a really wombo combo deck eventually. And I don't like that it only locks you while on the field. And I know that's crazy because I want good support for the deck. Maybe it's advantageous for Rikka to not just always be locked into plants, right? But I'm really concerned about her just turning into an extender as part of like a larger engine in a deck. I think in this format it's very safe to say that a lot of us are really tired of these just engines you just splash in. You have DPE, Brave, Souls, like the Red Rose stuff. Everything is just like 001 with Hulk. Everything is just an engine going into a deck right now, and it's getting a little tiresome for me. Not everyone feels that way, but I know there is a large part of the community that is just tired of seeing Brave, DPE, and everything. And yeah, she has me a little concerned on that aspect, but I think that's the only concern I have as far as this Rikka support. I do think maybe the spell locking you into plants is a little restrictive, because, I mean, I just said that's what I wanted, but there is a thing where your end board's not going to be amazing because of that, and that hurts Rikka a little bit. But that's what I'm saying. I think we're going to shift more to Rikka Petal actually being a star in the deck, because originally I was playing one Petal in my list just as a way to search off 1-for-1 to get a plant monster, like if I wasn't going for Evil Thorn. But I think it's going to be really good with a lot of follow-up in Petal now. I'm actually really excited for the support, because I love Rikka. I think it has some of the most beautiful art in the game. Like, obviously it's a bunch of waifus, but besides that, I think the actual art is just like really good. It's really clean, smooth, like artwork. Overall, I like the archetype a lot, but it wasn't able to shine, and I think now it's going to have a place as like maybe just rogue. I don't think it's going to break tier 2. I don't think it's going to break anything, but I'm sort of just concerned about how it could be an engine in other decks. Like, if you could make a Rikka plant monster like Strenna first, and then just use her Negate and Grave, it's just Griffin Rider at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, that's what I'm a little concerned about. Don't know if it'll happen. It's just my first sort of thought, but that's sort of what I think of this new support. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. what you think of this Rikka support. Do you like Rikka? Sort of what you think it's going to do. Will it be an engine in other decks? You know, anything you want to talk about down below, leave it down below. I said that a lot, but I'll make sure to read them. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.